Stacy's homestead, and I'm out here doing some gardening. Gonna plant my little bit of vegetables I have for this summer, and hopefully we get just enough cucumbers to make some pickles, and I got tomatoes and just a few of the necessities I actually have to have this year. Couldn't do a big old garden this year. My son is not feeling good, so we are going to be using wicking bags. That's what we're going to be using. So I went and bought some plants in the garden supply store because I didn't have time this year to grow my own. I'm letting my main vegetable garden rest, and we're just doing it easy this year because I'm running late and it's already getting to be summertime. If I don't get things planted now, then they are not going to take. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just put soil in these bags and then put our vegetables in there, and I'll show you what I have after that. Okie dokie, well, we're done. We got the cucumber plant in here, and that's a banana plant, but it's in a separate container. I'm going to move it. Got to transplant that later. We got a tomato plant in here. That's a tomato. There's jalapeno and bell pepper, squash, and tomato, and that's all I really need for a garden this year. I've had huge gardens in the past, so I have a lot of food put up already from those. You know, I have plenty of stock, but there's a volunteer. I'm not sure if that's a pumpkin or because I leave what I do. You see, I just scatter pumpkin seeds from my previous pumpkins. So I did plant these, so I'm probably gonna have a pumpkin. Or I also had a cucumber growing right here last year. But I'm thinking it might be a pumpkin. We'll see. Got that mint right there. I'm keeping it contained until I figure out where I want it. Alright, so we're going to be planting in the medicinal garden some basil and Thai basil and bee balm. Just add that to here. And that's what we're going to do. Alright, so we're going to just be weeding a little bit in here. And don't mind the cars, my garden's close to the road, sorry about that. So I get these like volunteer trees from my tree right here. I don't know what type of tree it is, but it has these like Chinese lanterns that grow on it. But I'm not sure exactly what type. I got them at a sale from a retirement home where they grew plants, and they didn't know what it was called either. So we're gonna take off. These are called suckers on the tree. This is an apple tree. We'll take these suckers off. Don't want them growing down there. So I'm thinking about putting those little fairy lights, you know, in the garden. That would be pretty. My uncle has a little gnome village, and I think that's neat. So, but the fairy lights would be cool. My daughter, interesting story in a way. My grandma, his middle name is Faye, and she told me that it was given to her because of her grandma's parents or her mom's. I'm not sure which one's belief, but that it would protect them from the fae or the fairy. And so I named my daughter's middle name as Faye because I thought that was a neat little story. And so she's named after my grandma, Faye, her middle name. Faye after fairies, the fae of the forest, right? So, get out of there. You better not pee on my stuff. Don't you pee on my stuff. And then anyways, speaking of my grandma, you know, little pictures, right? The term little pictures, when I was little, I used to sit there and I'm gardening. I'm pulling weeds. This is an onion. I used to sit there and listen to my grandma and her sisters and brothers tell stories, you know, and that's where I picked up on her middle name being Faye, for protection from the fairies. I thought that was cute. But you know, you learn a lot when you're little and you're just listening to your elders talking. You hear the darndest stories when you're just sitting there eavesdropping on your elders, right? And so they talked about how my great-grandma was saying how my great-grandma used to go take her reading people's fortunes and their tea leaves, and she was so embarrassed. And I thought that was pretty neat information there. But I asked her about it. See, they didn't like talking about their past and growing up, so you had to really just listen to them talking privately, you know? Yeah, that was something I thought, huh? And she said they would say that when they were talking about this, they said, yeah, she was so embarrassed having to go read people's fortunes and their tea leaves and stuff. And then they would say, like, if a baby was born, you had to leave the window open, and then and then leave a bowl of water for the bad spirits to get captured. I don't know, this is a child's memory, but it's like, you know, it's very intriguing. So I like to read about mythology because of stuff like that. There we go. And and then also my grandma told me this as well. She's so we're from, like, our family is from Oklahoma. Have you heard of the Dust Bowl, right? Well, the huge migration to California. She said if you read The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, it is basically our family's history of the migration here from California, from Oklahoma to California. And so, you know the term okie, right? Well, that was my family's badge, right? It used to be like a bad term. You know, now my brother and me, it's like prideful, we're okies. But back then, you were called an okie, it was like a bad name. Anyways, yeah, it was hard for them to settle down here in California. You know, they came from Oklahoma to work in the fields and pick the oranges and pick cotton, and that's what, I got these weeds right here. I don't know if these are weeds. I think it's a marshmallow. That's just what they did. They were just, you know, trying to survive. But yeah, read The Grapes of Wrath. It's good history on, you know, how a lot of people spread across America trying to find work and food. And so I was just thinking about that with everyone talking about prepping and prices going up and all that jazz, you know. Reminded me of my grandma's story about the Dust Bowl and them migrating to California from Oklahoma. But it was really hard for them, you know. Even like the stigma of being Okie stuck with, you know, my mom and her brothers and sisters. Really, like, it just, because they didn't have much money growing up. They, you know, were not well off, and so, they lived, but they just, you know, had to work real hard. Anyways, there's also, what was that, what's that book? We Were Poor But Didn't Know It. Basically, they had their food and stuff, and they had a good life. But, that's about that little story there. I think I got all the weeds cleared out. I've been cleaning my garage out, so the wind is blowing all kinds of stuff everywhere. Goodness, I got these garden buckets. And there we go. There we go. Let's get some more stuff planted, huh? I have this little tool. Let's see if this works. It's looking a bit rusted here. We're just gonna go like that and pluck it out. I love this little tool. Cars driving by here. Just keep on turning this little sucker here. Little mofo won't come out. Goodness gracious. Alright, we'll just use our trowel now. I think we're going to make it a little bit wider. We're going to add some soil in here too. This is just sandy dirt. Alright, so let's put our bee balm. Actually, I'm going to put our basil. I'm going to put these basil groupings right here. I think we'll put the bee balm in the shade more. It's a fragile little bit of plant around here. Alright, so put these in the ground. Go sideways. Squeeze it all around. The root ball is bound up, so that's not too bad. Or slide that little sucker in there hole. And then cover up with some good soil here. And there we go. There we go. Try to fill in the gaps there. There. And that's done. And we're going to do that for the Thai basil and my bee balm over here. And I'll show you when I'm done. We got the basil and the Thai basil over here. Well, next to the red clover. So, and this is supposed to be echinacea growing. I planted it. This is my second year trying to grow it. I don't know. I think the seeds might be duds. But, and over here is my, I went ahead and put the bee balm over here and a pepper plant as well. So this is all the beautiful garden for now. I had a vegetable garden out there, did for years until everything stopped producing, and I have to let that rest. So that's taken over. I have to rotate crops, and this year I just decided to do wicking bags, which it's cool because they're air prone. They don't get root bound. There's Shandon. Say hi. Anywho, so this is where we're gonna just spread our garden out this year. We're gonna just go that way eventually. While I let the other rest and get fertilized by the chickens and all the good stuff. Up there's Roxy. She's just ornery as ever because she's in heat. I have to quickly show you my garage for. Just had to sweep it out. I had a lot of boxes sitting in here and old TVs and things from years back. So I got my garage cleaned out, worked on that. It's all cleaned up now. Everything's put out for the trash. I put it out front. We're going to just throw it away in the trash can. Alright, well we're done with our garden for this summer. And we'll just wait for our bountiful harvest to come. Hopefully we get enough cucumbers for some pickling and tomatoes just to eat. And like I said, I have plenty from our other previous gardens to sustain us this year. We're just doing it pretty small and simple. Okie dokie. Well, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Just wait for the bountiful harvest to come. Is it bountiful or bountiful? Bountiful. Hey, don't forget, hit the like and subscribe.